was it was deep.
Welcome back to the show. In case you missed it, before I pressed play, I let out a pretty deep burp. That actually felt really good. That was really releasing.
I haven't burped like that in my life.
Oh my gosh. Nowadays, when I burp, it just frees up so much room in my stomach.
Baby's in there and
Like,
they're
Kermit
like,
Frogs.
oh, he's on the
Yeah.
screen to move around now. It's like a little earthquake in there for them.
Oh my gosh. Settle down.
Mom, can you come down out there?
That's actually what I talked about with Jess with content. Oh, well, right on par for the for the episode. By the way, welcome back to the Beyond the Coach podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Kelsey Nanini.
And I'm Chris Sweet.
We're going to be talking about content today and how to stay creative in your content. But last week when you were in Iceland, which looked incredible.
It was great.
Jess and I were talking about content, and I was like, I keep seeing these really funny ones where it's like me working out during pregnancy, and you're like, going hard, you're like feeling good, and then it's like my baby, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like the people in the back of a van, like a movie clip. It's so
do
funny.
that.
It's so funny. I'm like, I really need to
You need
that.
to do so many green screen things. Like you could just do so many bits.
I have a lot of good. Like, it's not like something I wanted to necessarily like fully like immerse myself into, but now I'm like, I think I do. I think it's
Yeah.
funny. I think it's really funny. There's some good stuff you could do.
Yeah.
So we have some good stuff planned. But content. We this morning we like hopped on our link to Riverside to film this podcast, and if you guys don't know who Dockless Fitness is, you should definitely follow her, but don't steal her shit. She is so smart and incredible. She has her PhD in exercise physiology, I want to say it is, and she's
I think so.
a genius. I've bought a few programs from her, hybrid, which now I just realized I don't know how to access those anymore because they were on my old computer. Shit. I have to go into my emails, I guess. I don't know. I've done the endurance, I think, which is like teaching like running stuff, and then I've also bought hybrid athlete guide, which is like basically like running and lifting and how to do them cohesively together. So for me, it's helped me as a coach, but just like learn more about that and how to coach it because she's very smart. And but someone was stealing her content and stealing like her entire website, everything. And she's had other people steal her content ideas before on Instagram, and she's coming after them. She like posted the girl's page and like called her out. And I
She's
honestly
like
think
a
that needs to happen
cold-blooded
more.
killer out here on the internet.
Yeah. But I was like, hell yeah. If I was as smart as her and I had like as many accolades as her and spent so much time, her content is so good, I would do the same freaking thing. She's like, I don't like call out culture on Instagram, but I like have to do it at this point. So that
And
people
I
stop
think it
doing it.
gets to a point for some creators. I've seen it not just for her, but also like I know Joelle Samantha at one point like went through it and she was posting, it was like years ago that she had been posting because multiple different coaches in the space were literally copying her physical content word for word, like same format, same text, same everything. And I think this can transition well into the conversation of like, and coaches get hung up in this too of like, well, I don't want to copy content, but like I want to go online and have inspiration. And I think that you can use these amazing creators and coaches and educators as inspiration. But when it comes to literally stealing things down to like the word, the color, everything, it's no longer your content. Like you are just, it's the same that we talked about of like if you're using ChatGPT to coach, you may as well call yourself the client. Like you still need to know your shit. You need to have some sort of sense of originality for you to be posting on the internet, in my opinion.
Yeah. It happened to Jamie a while back too. Your coach,
Yeah.
my prior coach,
Yep.
like word for word stuff, which is just crazy to me. It's actually happened to me too, to someone I actually knew, and it's weird. It only happened one time, and it was like a really stupid reel. I was like, why would you even why would you need to copy that? But it was really, it's weird, and it was not intellectual. It was like a fun reel, but it was a word for word. Everything was the same, and it wasn't a trend. So I think that's one piece. I know a lot of coaches who struggle with content, and my biggest piece of advice is obviously like you can still, at this point, it's really hard to not have the same content as someone else. Like there's only so many original ideas, but you can present it in original ways.
Yeah.
There's only so many concepts you can talk about. There's only so many mindset shifts that you can talk about on Instagram, but when you're presenting it, doing it in an original way, and that's where I obviously trends are great, but that's where I've always kind of stood on content is like how can I get the most creative like presentation of this out there? And that's what stands out.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many in the world of trends. Trends did not exist circa, COVID time when Reels first came out. Like
Yeah.
no one knew what a trend was. I mean, you had like the little funny sound bits and memes that people were making, but you didn't have the degree of what trends are happening now, and that's what you see the most amount of people hopping on. I think that's different. I think if you're hopping on a trend, that's going to feel
It's
word
the
for
truth.
word. But similar to what Kelsey said, it's like even visually speaking, how can you make it original to you? How can you make it a little bit different? How can you make it just where your audience gets to even know you a little bit more by seeing this funny piece of content that like themes to a trend? For me, today is Kenneth and I's wedding anniversary, which is crazy. It snuck up. Literally last night, I was like, do you know what tomorrow is? He was like, our anniversary. And then he
You're like, oh
goes,
shit.
he goes, you didn't buy me anything, did you? And I was like, No. He's like, good, I didn't buy you anything.
You guys
I
just went to
mean,
Iceland, so it's
we
fine.
just went to Iceland. It was a combo trip. We knew we were like celebrating our anniversary and his birthday during the trip as well. So I was like, it's fine. But the trend that I did was the trend that's going around that's like, hey, how many months have you been together? And then it's like a swipe through of all the years. But I decided to make it personal to us of like using it for our anniversary date and using it to just show like, I don't really share much about Kenneth and I's relationship on the internet. It's just something I tend to keep more private.
Yep.
It's a different way to do it. It's just like adding a little bit of a different touch. And my audience gets to know me a little bit more because of it as well. Like they get to see my relationship, something that they really don't see that often or know much about. So there's ways that you can do it where you keep some sense of originality, but it's a trend that is going to be word for word. And that's just kind of it. And also then moving it to fitness, there's only so many ways that you can do a form video reel without it looking like someone else's piece of content. Everyone's going to get the side angle of the Bulgarian split squats, glute focus versus quad focus. Like everyone's going to do it. I know you had that post more recently as well. People could go to your page and they could be like, well, I just posted it and Kelsey just posted it. She's stealing my content. No, it's a concept. It's literally a concept that you are trying to educate on that isn't going to change much like one post to another. That's just
Yeah.
it. So there's
Yeah.
certain cases where it's not going to be starkly different and may potentially be a little bit more word for word or formatted the same.
That actually happened. I think it was when I did the hip thrust versus the KS glute bridge. I can't remember which one it was, but I posted it, and then like 3 hours later, Alex Bush had posted one. I know he's not stealing my content because he's a genius. Like he's incredible. I actually learned a lot from. I was a physique development client for a while, and I learned so much. But it wasn't like, oh, I was like, oh, he stole my content. Or like, I've done it before too, where I posted something and I was like, oh my gosh, they just did it. But I was already planning on doing it that day. So it's like,
Yep.
at some point, I'm like, if I post the same thing as you hours apart, it was not copying you. I probably just had it planned, and that's just how the world works. But as far as like staying creative in content, because I know so many coaches now, let me be clear, like if you're an online service or an online coach, like that's how you find clients. I know there's a few people who are like, I actually don't post content anymore and I'm perfectly fine. But that's also probably because you've built up a CRM, you've built up a system and being able to contact people that way. In the coaching industry specifically, if you aren't posting regularly, like that's where everyone is. There's ways, certainly, let me be clear, there are definitely strategies to get clients away from Instagram. That is one thing I'm probably going to gatekeep of how to do that. But that's not what we're talking about necessarily. I think you just need to be on, you need to be on social media, educating and also just showing, not even just educating, it's like showing who you are. Like you said, like showing your personality, showing what makes you different. Because at the end of the day, everybody is going to get custom 101 nutrition, custom workouts, check-ins every week. Everyone is offering that. It is not independent to just you. That is not you providing some crazy different thing. At this point, everyone's one-on coaching is so similar, but you are the one who people are buying. They're
Yeah.
buying you essentially. And so that's where you really have to stand out on Instagram.
And a lot of people in your audience, I've noticed this, in comparison to when we started in like 2019, 2020, no one had an online coach. Nowadays, everybody has had an online coach. Like I would say 70% of people that you're probably getting on a sales call with has had a coach. And so similar to your point, they're not just coming in being like, okay, so like, what's different from the offer? It's like, what's different about you, like as a coach and who you are and the personality fit. It's a personality hire is like really what it is at the end of the day. It's like they are hiring you based on you and not necessarily based on like, oh, like they offer this custom training. Everybody's offering the custom training. And there's nothing wrong with that, as it should be. Like it should be that everyone is offering customization, but they're hiring you and your education and what you know.
Yep, absolutely. And that's such a weird thing to think about. Like I have to
We are the
actually think about what liking
personality.
is. People buy from who they know, like, and trust. So it's something really important. But just a few things like we suggest in terms of like staying creative in content. I will say like there's certainly been times, and I think it's harder for Chris and I because we're talking to two different populations. Like we're talking to coaches, but then we also turn around and we talk to lifestyle as well. And so bridging that gap is really actually like a huge challenge. And it's been something we've struggled with off and on. I will say posting content to lifestyle clients is not hard, but you're overthinking it. And I think it's just, you're also the one big thing that I truly believe. I don't consume a lot of content. I go on stories and that's like pretty much the extent of it. If I don't ever comment or like your stuff, it's not because I don't care about you. It's because I literally don't see your shit.
Mhm.
And Instagram hides a lot of it. So that's like the first thing I would say. And I know we talked about this before the show is like, don't over consume. The reason why you don't feel creative in your content is because you're literally scrolling all day long, hoping to get like inspiration from someone
Yeah.
else.
And you're going to go on and you're going to feel like, I don't know, you're going to kind of feel like someone who just read a book and you're like, I want to write a book, but all you can think about is the book that you just read. So you just can only think of that idea. It's like if you're just scrolling, you're only going to think of the last piece of content that you just saw. Or you're going to just be thinking about like the comparison then that comes into it, because I think there's like killers to obviously creativity and what that looks like. It's like overconsumption as one, but then when you're over consuming, then the comparison comes in of just like, now I'm trying to sound like every other coach on the internet that you don't even know who you are anymore. Like a lot of the times the coaches that I coach business wise, they feel like they just don't even have an identity as a coach. They're like, I don't know who I am because all I've ever known is following all these other people and trying to replicate that. What makes you unique? What makes you special? Are you a mom? Are you an ex-athlete? Do you love going and like rock climbing? Is there a hobby that you like to do that you can show and like prove and incorporate that into the content? Again, going back to trends, it's cool to throw in a trend, but also like put yourself in a place that you can then get creative to think of other ideas. And the place that is going to do that is not sitting on the app. Like simply will not. When we were in Tulum, Kelsey, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but like Kelsey became a content ninja in like a matter of 30 minutes. I was sitting there with my journal. I had nothing. Nothing was coming to me. Kelsey was like on a steroid of some sort when it came to content.
Never felt that way before.
Like, damn, I have this type of motivation. But I'll have you speak on it. But it's an example of how when you put yourself in different environments that are not Instagram and TikTok, things can happen.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I think too with content, like there's definitely ways, like you said, like not over consuming or like not like only trying to be someone else. I love Annie Miller. I look up to Annie Miller so much, and she does a really great job of focusing on coaches, focusing on lifestyle for her app. She does a really great job of going back and forth, and that's someone I really look up to. It doesn't mean I'm replicating all of her shit. It's just like, oh wow, I really like that piece of content. How can I make that my own? That's a great concept. And so I think it's okay to have that, but still stick to who you are.
Mhm.
But yeah, with the content in Tulum, I think one of the ways I stay really creative in content, and I will say it's a little harder now with having it's let me say, having our social media manager is amazing. I love not having to worry about posting stuff for the day and just having it done. But I think I lost a little bit of that creativity because now it's like, okay, I'm not the only one like in this, but it's also nice to have like another set of eyes. It's like, hey, that might not work super well. What if we do it this way? But in Tulum, I am a very firm believer that if you put yourself into a creative space, you can get just shit done. So like you have to figure out where that creativity comes from. For me, it's like listening to and it's a variety of music. Like I could show you my Spotify and you would be like, "What the fuck? Like who is this girl?"
No,
Like
like if I'm driving with someone new for the first time in my car, I'm like putting on the most basic Spotify radio because y'all don't want to be in my liked songs shuffle.
yeah,
It's like
I like so oh my gosh.
it shows multiple different personalities. Either I'm gonna get like Ratchet from like college, or we're gonna get like High School Musical, or we're gonna get new Morgan Wallen music. Like who
Literally
knows? It's
Dave Matthews in there. I also have like Tyga. So I mean like Spotify's wild. But I put on Morgan Wallen. That was what I was feeling that day. Typically, it is something like I have a work from home playlist, and it's like Noah Khan. Is it Khan? I never know how to say his
fun.
last
Yeah.
name. Noah Khan. It also has like Jack Johnson, and then it also has like Kelsey Ballerini and Lainey Wilson and Morgan Wallen. Like there, it's just a modge podge. But I put on Morgan Wallen. I put in my headphones, and I just like I actually did have ChatGPT next to me, but what I was doing, I actually like, kind of went through my old profile, found stuff that I liked, wrote down those concepts, and then I just kind of built content off that. And I swear it was like 10 minutes, and I had like 25 pieces of content that I was just like, it was done.
Yeah,
Like
you
it's
knocked it
actually,
out.
it's in this journal. It's gonna get locked up with a key. There's still some ideas in there I haven't used, but for me it's just like getting into it. Like that day we weren't doing a lot of logical things, and we
Mhm.
actually talked about this on the cohort call last night of like having themed days. I've done that for the past like 2 years, 3 years maybe, probably more like two. And it's such a game changer because I'm very logical in the beginning of the week. I start my week, I do all my client check-ins, and then in the middle of the week, I try to do a lot of like programming stuff. And then towards the end of the week, when you're like, it's the weekend, yeah, 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 like you can do more of your content stuff, and just get that done. I will say it obviously looks a little different for us now, but finding the day when you feel like you're probably most, and it kind of depends on who you are too, because I also had the conversation of like maybe you just have like just all your rollover stuff that didn't get done for the week, doing that on Friday because you want to get to the weekend, so you'll be more likely to just like whip it out. Just find a
Yep.
day. Find a day where you can just get into a creative flow, whether that's like go to a coffee shop, treat yourself to a latte, sit down, like even like being just in like a really creative coffee shop that's like trendy and cute. Like
Yep.
you can knock out a lot of stuff, but you just have to put yourself in the position to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that goes into like a really good topic, which is just like when you create too rigid of systems, I think, around content, like some people just take it so seriously. Like they just are very much like, I have to write down this content right here, right now. Like I have to get 10 ideas. It's like if you're putting too much pressure and too much of an expectation on yourself to make content, you're not going to love your content. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
are, and it's great to schedule your content. It's great to have ideas ahead of time, especially for when you're not feeling very creative. I think it's good to definitely have things that you can just kind of generically post and just get it out there, even if you don't love it. I think you have to post in order to figure out your groove again. However, if suddenly you get like this sense of inspiration and you're like, I have this great idea, I want to post this, but in your head you're thinking, but I have this scheduled for today. It's okay to post the thing that actually lights your soul on fire versus the thing that you're just like, okay, I just feel like another coach on the internet posting this. And that's okay to move things around. Take the thing that you were less excited about and move it to next week because you can shift things around. You should not be too rigid because that is going to suck the creativity out of you. and you're going to have no space for inspiration to be created. And that's the thing about like putting yourself in good spaces and not over consuming and trying not to have that comparison. Kelsey and I talk a lot about like even having, the mute feature on certain pages of people that you may be comparing yourself to. If you're noticing that in your content, you feel like it's kind of sucking out the originality from you, go and mute that page for like a week or two and just give yourself some space. Put timers on your apps so that you're not on Instagram past like 9 p.m. or TikTok past 9 p.m. and it's like sucking all that creativity out of you. I think all of those things really just go hand in hand of, hey, before you scroll, like try to post your own content so that you can create first and then you can consume later if you need to. That's just kind of the thought there.
Yeah. And I think if you're in a creativity rut, another thing that has helped me is thinking about what content I really like consuming, and just posting that. Because if I like consuming it, more than likely, probably a lot of my audience likes to consume the same stuff. And that's just good when you're in a rut. Obviously, like most people don't like consuming talking head videos. Some do, but it's usually like the quick, easy content. I was even telling our coaches that for the summer is like, they've had some trouble like just getting posts up and like staying consistent with content. And I was like, just have fun with it. Like just post random shit. I don't even care if it's helpful or not. Like just get something out there to where sometimes just throwing stuff out there, you don't even think it's going to have virality, and it does really well, and people see it. And I think it's just the stuff that's sometimes easy that just allows you to, it's like, hey, it's almost like faking it till you make it. Like just get something out, have fun with the content. It could be more lifestyle focused, especially in the summer when a lot of people are focused, they're vacationing, they're doing all these things. It's not to say you shouldn't be posting. It's just to say maybe this is the time where you like deload from the really serious stuff and you just have fun with content again. Like that's, I think, really important too in staying creative with content, is not thinking like, oh my gosh, I have to have this post convert to a client. It's like, no, just put stuff out there and have fun with it. Like make content fun again. I should make a shirt that says that.
You should.
Instagram fun again.
I also just stopped looking at my metrics. Like I just stopped looking at, like, I'll look at it here and there of what's, doing well, what seems to be getting better views, like what's kind of happening. But I think when you're posting and you're so stuck on like, oh, this is the post, like we've been there. You make this amazing post, you think it's going to pop off. It's like funny as heck. It's relatable as heck. And then it flops and you're like, oh my God. And then that paralyzes you from posting for suddenly 2 weeks. It's like if you just release the pressure and also show to yourself it's not that deep. You're not going to remember that Instagram post even a month from now. So like just respectfully just kind of move on from it. Like you got to keep posting. And to Kelsey's point earlier, it was like, I don't think there's really an excuse of I don't know what to post. It's post 5 tips that I have for someone looking to lose 10 pounds before the summer. It's like, and boom, drop 5 tips. It can be the simplest freaking post. It could be a B-roll post. It could be an old piece of content. Like you also don't need to constantly make new content. Go back into your old content and go find something that excited you and go recreate that. Like take a different video and just put the text over it. You've made so much. I actually was going to my Instagram to see how much content I made. I have over 1,000 Instagram posts. I could probably go down into the archives of my Instagram and go recreate some of these pieces of content when I'm feeling in a rut. Like you guys can do that too.
Yeah, I actually did that. I was sending like a bunch of content in our group chat with our social media manager. It was like last month, I think, because I used to be so fucking funny. Like that's literally my personality on Instagram. Like if you are having trouble finding your personality, like Chris was saying earlier, find it and stick to it and stay in your integrity with that too. Like don't try to be, I'm not the like vloggy, vibey. I give people kudos who have the patience to create the vibey day in the life, get ready with me. It's not my vibe. I'm chaotic as fuck. Like I just, it's like, I just need to be the funny person. Like that's how I built, honestly, I think that's how I built a lot of like I don't have a huge following, but I think that's how people have stayed around because I was funny. And then I kind of did a switch when I started focusing on coaches to a little more of like the serious authority building. And I've teetered back on going to like being funny and goofy. Like I would just be watching a movie, and I think it also goes along with my husband does the same thing. Like we both make content, so it's helpful because I'm like, hey, what could I do for this? And we like brainstorm together, but we'd be watching a movie. I'm like, oh my gosh, this would be so good for a voiceover. Yeah. And like just having fun with it. Like I really missed that. So I was sending all this stuff, and like now that I'm announced that I'm pregnant, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to make like so much the Grinch sound that's like, that's it, I'm not going. Like I can't wait to recreate it. And like all that stuff, I think it's just so fun. And
Hmm.
that's what I built like my Instagram on. It wasn't on, I don't do a lot of trends. If you, and like there's nothing wrong with trends. That's how you get virality in your content.
Yeah.
I just have never really gotten on the a lot of the trends. I've just always been like, I'm just gonna be goofy and like have fun with it. And that's just what has worked for me, which is why it's so important in staying creative with your content to find what works specifically for you.
Yeah, 100%. I think another place too that you can get creative or like have a source of creativity is just thinking of the client conversations you're having, thinking of sales
Yeah.
calls that you've had. If you guys use Fathom on your sales calls and have a recording of either like a sales call or even a client call or a retention call or whatever you're having, take the transcript of that call and literally go put it into ChatGPT and
Hmm.
just explain to chat what you're dealing with and ask for pieces of content from it. You can get so much content from DMs, from check-ins, from calls, from just conversations you've had with friends and family, even like the real client struggles that you're seeing, the real struggles your audience is seeing, those conversations is literally endless content. And I think coaches forget too that that is something you can repurpose. The conversations that you've had, the transformations that you've posted in the past can come back and you can show those again in different formats. Just pull from literally the source, and the source is your clients and your audience that's already existing there because there's already so many conversations. I think we forget that as coaches though, is that this could be content because in your head as coaches we almost know too much, so we're just answering these questions because it's second nature to us to answer it, but we don't think about, oh, if my client's asking this question or saying this, there's probably people in my audience that also need to know this or want to know this, so let me go make a piece of content about it. You almost have to like pump the brakes a little bit when you're having those conversations to get more ideas for yourself.
Yeah. That's a huge one. And Fathom, if you're not using it, it's free. It's like the best thing ever. But also to not stop learning. I will say anytime that I've either, it's not even just doing certs. I have a subscription to Mass, which is like a every month. It's, I can't remember who the person is that runs it, but he releases like 13, 10 to 13 new like studies that he just finds on the internet, and he actually reviews them. I think it's Drexler. Frick, I don't remember who he is. Anyways, it's really helpful. And he'll review it, and I learned so much from it, and it's really great to pull content from. And then also, even like when you're posting content, you can be like, hey, this is the study, and you can like pop it up on a reel. I was doing that a lot, but that also just like guides like that you can purchase from other coaches that you can learn a ton from and just get creative content from. That, and then also textbooks, reading through textbooks, or certs. Obviously certs are really big too, where if you're learning something you can then share it with your audience. And it, like every time I swear I like dive into a new textbook or like a new book, like when I was learning about triphasic training, I read that textbook through. Or another big one, I feel like I can't remember which one it was, but I made so much content off it because I was learning and I was like, oh my gosh, this is stuff I can share. So like instead of consuming a ton of content on Instagram, and again, that's like it obviously does become more educational when you're sharing more textbook information and stuff like that. But if that's your forte, if that's what you're wanting to focus on, it's so helpful.
Yeah. And I think then leading into like another tip would be just theming your days. Like instead of telling yourself, again, going back to rigidity is like the big thing. Like don't be too rigid. Like I am not, definitely, I don't think either of us are like the free floaty fairy like people. Like we are more rigid people in our
Very
routines
today.
and everything that we do. But I think something that we've been good at is like leaving openings for the creativity that can come and like the free flow that can come from that. But it's like one thing is just theming, like theming the days of not only your content but even your work. Like we talk about that of having different days. And then for me, I'm not making content on Mondays. Like I am not making content on a Monday when I'm doing client check-ins. Like maybe I get some ideas about content, but like I'm not doing it that way. So even theming content itself, but then also theming the days that you're actually producing that content and doing it and writing it out and creating it, because it's gonna feel draining if you're doing it on days that just don't make sense to make content.
Yeah. To that point too, I was thinking back to when you were here, and it was like, I want to say it was like 4 p.m. and we were like, I don't think that was the day no, it was the day we did a bunch of content, but I forget what we were doing the rest of the day. I think there was something else we were doing the rest of the day. It was the night I made enchiladas.
I
And I don't remember what we did that day, but we did something. And then like we got to 4 and we were like, oh, we really have to. I think we were like planning everything out. Like we were
Yeah.
doing a ton of planning. And then we were like, we really do need to make content, because we were going to make some the next day, but we were like, no, we like really do need to.
Yeah.
And I remember we were like, okay, let's just do one video. We'll just do this video. And we did it. And then we got the juices flowing, and we ended up filming content for like 2 hours.
We had a lot of freaking content filmed.
Yeah. And so it's like, that's, I think, too, part of the content process is like the reason that you don't feel like doing it is because you just don't do it. Like you just don't make time for it. And then you're throwing some random shit together.
Yeah.
Where if you just started, I've found that with anything I do. It's kind of like what you would tell your clients going to the gym. It's like, hey, it's like the 10-minute rule or whatever it is. Like, go to the gym, start doing something for 10 minutes. If you're still not feeling it, then leave. But most of the time, once you start doing it and you've been doing something for 10 minutes, you're like, okay, it's not so bad. I can do it. And I think that's a big piece too. What I tell my clients as well, and this isn't necessarily creative, this is more just getting the content done, is like, whatever you feel like you push off, do it first thing. Like, get yourself ready. If you have to film content, get yourself ready, do it all, or like just batch. If you have it all filmed, batch, edit in the morning, and get it done. Like, just throw on some music, throw Netflix on the background. I don't even care what you do. If it's not a show you need to pay attention to, if it's just some trash TV you can just have in the background and you're editing, awesome. I think those things are really big. It's just like, fake it till you make it. Just like do it. And it's a lot easier once you just start.
Yeah. I remember that day. We were like, we need to do this. We had been there for like,
Whenever you said it,
I had been there for like 2-3 days, and I was like, Kelsey, we need to do this.
I looked at you and I was like, do we really? Like, I really just
Like, I'm
wanna chill
leaving in
right
24 hours.
And then we ended up knocking that. And then the next day we came home from brunch and we filmed all those.
Yeah. We
squad
had
ones.
so
And
many.
the High School Musical one. Or was that High School Musical?
No, we did
might
High
have been
School
the day we
Musical
did-
and The Ghost, I think, in one day.
Yeah. And then we ended up doing the funny, like, textbook ones too.
Yeah.
But I think that's a big thing. The other thing I was going to say is batching. Or not batching. I already said that. Your captions. First of all, I will say I don't really read captions,
I
but
don't
I
think
know they're
anybody
important
reads
because some people do. ChatGPT. Like,
Yeah.
what I like to do, or what I was doing when I did my own content, was I would do the ChatGPT for the captions. I would read through it and I'd be like, how can I make this still my own voice? And over time, like, what you can do with chat is you can train your chat and you can have them create a caption, copy it, paste it into a doc, put it into your own voice, and then copy that back into chat and be like, hey, this is how I would say it. And you can train your chat. It's actually insane. At this point in time, it's like, we don't need to be writing captions like on our own, but you can at least make it your own voice and something you would actually be saying. But I will say, if you're struggling with content, put a topic into chat and be like, hey, create 5 pieces of content for me on this. Some of it's going to be really cheesy and really chuggy. You don't have to post that stuff. You can make it your own. And you can also give chat feedback. ChatGPT stresses me out. Okay. It scares me to death because I'm like, this is the world now. But it's like, either get on the train or get off it. Like, be smart, think smarter, not harder. Like, use chat to your advantage when everyone else is also using ChatGPT.
Yep.
Or keep, like, digging yourself a bigger hole and not doing the things you need to do. Like, it's just going to make your life easier.
Yeah, I'll also use the voice memo feature on ChatGPT that they have now, and I'll literally just talk to my chat. Like when I get an idea or something, I'll be like, hey, or if I'm trying to explain how I want it, because I'm so a voice memo person over a typing person, I'm like, I'm just gonna kind of word vomit to my ChatGPT of what I'm trying to do. And I tend to get better ideas that way versus the laziness of me typing, like, because I'll type a sentence versus sending a whole voice memo will be a lot more detailed. But I think that also goes into just shifting the environment for yourself as well. Like if you're not getting creative with the content, it's like just put yourself in places where you can. And for me, like that is my laptop. That's me being outside. That's me opening my chat GPT. That's me like not consuming content, just me genuinely like thinking through. If I'm consuming, I'm actually going through my old content. Like that tends to be where I'll get the most ideas. I personally get the most ideas when I'm at the gym. Like when I'm at the gym and I'm playing my Big Booty remix and my blasting in my ears, I get so many ideas. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is a hot take. Because I think of all the things that people have objections towards when it comes to health and fitness while I'm working out. Because I think about the fact that, like, oh, well, I would have much preferred to be doing this, but here I am. And it's like, I just kind of become an asshole when I'm at the gym. Like, I think of very hot take, just like hard truth type of things. And I jot down it all in my phone. Like I will just jot it all down and then I'll go plug it in after. Like it's just, you got to put yourself in those environments. Traveling helps me a lot, like just getting out and about, going to coffee shops, like you said, like those things matter so much so that you're not just relying on the internet, but you're also relying then on your own creative space and learning that for yourself, I think is really important because then it will put you in the mindset of like, okay, I just got to create this one piece of content. Let me go do that. And now you can start to create that like tumbleweed version of like you building up this content essentially.
Yeah. And to the point too of like putting yourself in different environments, theming your days. I just had a conversation with one of my ACA clients. She recently like kind of left her job. She was working at a gym and left that to go all in on her business, which is freaking incredible. But now she's struggling with routine and like figuring out what works for her. Um, and she's like, I'm really, really productive early in the morning. Like first thing in the morning, I find that I'm so good on top of my work. And I'm like, yeah, that first part of the day, for some people, not everyone is like this, but I'm the same way. Like I switched my routine because I was finding I was so productive from like when I woke up at 5, we like walk the dogs, I get back, have a snack or whatever. And then I like want to just work. I want to just grind. But what I was finding was I went to the gym at 7 and I was like, wow, I'm actually losing a big chunk of my productivity time. So I started going to the gym at 11 or 11:30 or even noon, somewhere in that time frame, which I never thought I would do. I'm like, ugh, that's such a late time to go to the gym. But it actually was a nice break for me where I could have this like morning shift, get really, really productive with my deep work in the morning, and then come back feeling refreshed post lunch where I'm like ready to finish out my day, kind of doing it in shifts. So it's not necessarily something you have to do, but if you're finding that you're lacking creativity, maybe you need a schedule shift. You need even like a environment change. Maybe you need to like go to the gym, like I said, go to the gym at a different time, and maybe you'll get like inspiration from people working out or things that you experience while you're at the gym. Like there's just so many different ways where if you're feeling like you're lacking creativity, something just needs to change in your life to kind of spark that creativity again.
Yeah, definitely. A thought that I had too was when you are like kind of scrolling or going on social media, I think it's important to also just not look at coach content sometimes. Like go look at non-coach content and consume that. Sometimes I actually get better ideas like from the things that, are the funny sound bits that aren't even related to health and fitness, like people's travel reels or quotes that people are posting or the audios that people are using that aren't a girl deadlifting every single time. It's like I get to learn from other people's content and then just apply my own angle to it as well. That's another place that you can definitely work to get creative in shifting those routines. And if that's something in your toolbox where you're like, well, I do feel a benefit from scrolling. Okay, but maybe you go try to consume other people's content and not just the ones that are your peers who are posting those literal things that you're posting.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely the consuming part. Like it's obviously fun to like support your friends, but to that same point, it's like at some point you're gonna get burnt out in it, almost comparison mode to comparing to them, and then you feel lack of creativity. I used to just like scroll Instagram trying to find um, inspiration for my content, and it actually just frustrated me more than anything.
Mhm.
So I think less consuming and more like getting into your creativity flow, whether that be meditation, listening to music, getting outside. Like I will say the sun, that was I think a big thing for me in Tulum. The sun is so like energizing that when I was out on the deck just doing like consume like not doing anything, not consuming anything, just almost I could have done it without the music too, like just listening to birds tweet and whatever. It's peaceful. So finding like a peaceful environment that also gets you creative, or maybe peace isn't you're saying you
Yeah.
thrive off chaos. Find whatever works for you and like hammer in on that.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, like this is just a big fat permission slip to experiment because, nothing I get all the time from coaches of, can you just send me like the page of someone who's doing well right now? Can you send me the page of someone that like has good inspiration, whatever? Can you, or, oh, I saw so and so is doing this. It's like, maybe give yourself permission to experiment and less of this need to always search for an answer. Like, there's not going to be this straightforward answer of, oh, all because Susie is doing so great on social media, I'm going to go to her page and I'm going to post similar things to what she's posting because that's got to work for me. It's not going to. It's the same way that if you give two people, same weight, same everything, same set of macros, they're going to have two different results regardless because they're two different bodies, two different external stressors, things going on in their lives. Like, you cannot go and just like replicate someone else's stuff without giving yourself permission to experiment and allow yourself different environments to experiment in, different schedules to experiment in. Like, everyone gets so stuck on this idea, I have to have this cadence and I have to do it this way. If you are feeling this burst of creativity, maybe you had only planned an hour block for it, take 2 hours for it. Like, go enjoy that, rush of creativity that you're getting. And then you can go move things around elsewhere. You do not have to be so rigid in the routines that you're not, or actually that it makes you fall out of love with your content at the end of the day, or out of love with the routines because you're trying to be just like so much. But I think it proves when you're experimenting with stuff too, and you're even sharing that with your audience, like it proves to your audience that, hey, I'm human. Like, I'm human. I'm like on this little rock floating in the world right now with you. And I'm going to kind of mess around a bit. And that's going to come with messy action of different types of content, different places you're putting that content. And I think going into the algorithm real quick, algorithms they're just stupid. Like, do not let that be the thing that takes away that permission slip. Like, if you're saying, oh, well, the algorithm's favoring this, but you deep down want to go post something else, go post something else.
Literally.
Your audience doesn't give a shit about the algorithm. Like, your audience cares about you. So, like, focus on that. That is it.
Yeah, I think too. Yeah, if you're getting so bogged down on how your content is performing, like if you're just constantly using that as an excuse, that's all that you're going to think about, and you're not going to create. So I think stop. Like, don't be a victim to the algorithm. No one knows what the algorithm is doing. I don't even think people that work at Meta know what the algorithm is doing. So there's no point in trying to guess. And if you see the posts on Instagram that are like, worked at Meta, here's what they're doing with the algorithm, we're like, I decoded the algorithm. No one did it. No one knows what the algorithm is doing, and who cares? Like, just post content. Like, your content will find the right people. Just stay consistent with it. That's the biggest thing, is like, if you're consistent with it, then you stop posting for 2 weeks, like you just kind of like dug yourself a hole. So like, just stay consistent, whatever you do. It's obviously okay to take a step back if it's for like your mental health or, whatever it may be, but at the end of the day, consistency is going to win. I will say I've had times where my content doesn't do well, but for my following, like for the most part, my content like performs decently well, but that's because I've stayed consistent with it. Like, I don't just use the excuse of like, oh, Instagram hates me.
Yep.
It obviously is easy to play that, and it's okay every once in a while to feel that way, but like, pull yourself out of it and just like stay consistent, I promise you it'll pay off in the long run.
Yeah, 100%. Those are all my thoughts, to be honest. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I think
sometimes, I don't know. I guess the last thing I'll touch on is that there can be this pressure that coaches feel that they always have to be on with social media, that they're like, oh, well, I'm an online coach. Like, I always have to be on. You don't. Like, you don't have to be on. When you think of social media and you think of even just what you consume on social media, that is such a small percentage of everyone's life. Like, do not let social media be the thing that becomes your entire identity and your entire personality, because like, you are not your social media. Like, you just simply are not. You are you, and your audience is getting like the tiniest percentage of your day. And so while it can feel like there's this pressure to always be on, it's actually so simple. Like, content is stupid simple when you take away the overcomplications that we all have made it at some point in our journeys. So if you can just look at it of like, I'm literally posting on this tiny ass screen for my job, like that feels really like, it's so silly when you think about it. Like, I am posting to this audience that I am never going to know every single face that's on here, but they're following me. They want to see my content. So I'm going to post on this little screen and we're just going to go from there. It's so simple. It's so simple when you just remove that pressure. So no, there's not the pressure to be on. There's simply the pressure of like, this is a job. This is something you want to do. Social media is a part of that. So go try to figure out what can feel the best for you and how you fit into the world of social media.
Yeah. Yeah, make it smaller. Make it just feel silly, and then feel
It's
a lot
so
better about it.
silly.
It's not that big of a pressure.
Like, how cute of us to think that our biggest worry in the world right now is posting on a fucking digital screen, like an app that could get shut down at any second. Like, when you think about it, that
Yeah.
is so silly. Like, go let
It
your
is.
problems be something else, please.
For sure. For sure.
Please.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. That was good.
The birds chirping in the back of your,
I was gonna say.
it feels like we're actually in Mexico. We're back on the patio.
It's a vibe. Yeah, I was like, oh, those birds are really happy.
Your background and everything. It's like you got the green background, you got the birds chirping. The birds were like, all right, Kelsey, we'll show up for you today.
Wait, were those my birds? I thought they were your birds.
No, I got no birds here. It's raining.
Wow. That's nice.
I don't think it's my
hear them,
birds.
though. That's funny.
Oh, wait, maybe it is my birds.
Wait, I don't hear any birds.
I'm like, hold on, I can't hear shit underneath.
Good morning. I was like, I don't know how I heard my birds.
Well, my birds are wishing you great creativity today.
The Massachusetts birds are really pumped up.
They're really hype, you know. I did not know that they was.
I was like, I swear I heard that through your microphone, but it could have been mine. Who knows?
That's how great the audio is on both of our ends. It could have been either one of us, and we wouldn't have known.
I do have a tree right outside my window, so that's why I was like, oh, maybe it is mine.
Maybe it is your birds. Yeah, I don't see the birds, but apparently they're there.
They're in your house.
They're around. They had to
They're
retreat to the front of my house because the back of my house still has this goddamn construction. So, you know, the birds are trying to retreat. They're trying to find a safe place.
We need a safe haven.
Yes, nothing is safe here. But thank you guys for listening. I hope that this helps some of you guys just feel heard and feel seen. So, like, go not scroll today. Go touch some grass. Go in the sun if you can. Go take your journal to Mexico if you're able to. Just write down all the pieces of content that you can today. And don't copy somebody's content word for word, color by color, anything like that. Like, do add a sense of originality. Otherwise, you will lose yourself. And I can guarantee that just from seeing it firsthand. So those are my tips.
Cool. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.